What up, dudes? This is a tree. In fact, this is a Durthu. You can tell it's a Durthu because of the way it is. Wow, that's pretty neat. We're back on the Trials of Tzeentch today, where our big old tree will be smacking some Imperial scum around with his wood, and Sisters of Thorn will be joining the party with those vicious little deer from hell. Pretty casual game, nothing too serious here, playing with a patron named T-Gaff Supreme, both of us with autogen to armies, and he has the Emperor himself on foot, slumming it with his men. Pretty weird builds, and as soon as we load it up, my Waystalker is basically saying to himself, "Oh shit, here we go again." It's gonna be a really weird start to this match because there are really weird army comps on both sides of the field. Dryads, Waystalker, and the Wardens of Tzeentch. Vanguard deployed in the front, and I was hoping to get above them, above the Empire army on the devastation of Ostermark, but unfortunately, I've deployed right in range of all of their guns and artillery. So as the game starts, Dryads gonna get exploded and creeping barraged into Age of Sigmar. Got a Forest Dragon and those Sisters of Thorn, sneaky Zintler's Reiksguard doing some shrooms in the back of the map, and a decent amount of mobility on both sides, but very little in the way of actual infantry. So Durthu's gonna have to get stuck in and weather the artillery and the handgun volleys while the Hagbane tipped Blade Guard do whatever they can to maybe equalize the numbers a bit. The Hunters of Kurnus, also Vanguard deployed, doing exactly what the Zintler's Reiksguard are doing, only on the other side, and they're gonna try to sneak in, maybe get a rear charge on Cav, maybe shut down the cannon and the Hellstorm rocket battery. But yeah, those Dryads, as the game starts, I mean, they literally spawned in range of 4 or 5 range units, and they're getting destroyed, and they never really had much of a chance. So, was really hoping the Empire would go on the plains below, on the plateau 1 or 2 levels down, because naturally you have longer sightlines there, flatter trajectory for your cannons, and you can bring your cap to bear easier on the bottom as well. But this deployment caught me completely off guard, and it's going to send me scrambling. So immediately, we're going to have to change the complexion of this battle. If I run up to the choke point straight into his guns from the front, I won't have an army in about 2 minutes. So we're going to have to think of something else. The Forest Dragon has something else on his mind. Soporific Breath, gonna let it rip and delete almost an entire unit of handguns there. Pretty nice. Really enjoyed that, but unfortunately, these silver bullets are there as well, and they have stock and magical ammunition, which is a nightmare for both Durthu and the Forest Dragon. So, gonna take a lot more damage there than I otherwise would have. One handgun unit, not a big deal. That's a perfectly reasonable trade to delete almost an entire unit, but the silver bullets made that a much worse proposition. Honestly, they should have like ghillie suits or something. I don't know how they stalk around a map, invisible from the naked eye, in the glorious red and white livery of Reikland. Doesn't make any sense, but the Waystalker is going to get in there with the state troops and start carving them up in melee. Of course, would rather have him sniping down Karl Franz or something, but again, he was Vanguard deployed up top, so it doesn't really have too many options. I could run him away and try to take him all the way around, but that would take forever, so we're just going to use him to help bolster up the front line, give him some leadership, and help those Wardens of Tzeentch trade into the Great Swords and the state troop moving up. But the Free Company Militia are firing in, and here come the Great Swords from the flank, and this is exactly where they want to be. AP, bonus versus infantry. Wardens of Tzeentch actually are very good in melee. Armor sundering, high melee attack, high melee defense. Problem is they're fighting Great Swords, and they're about to be surrounded and charged also by Demigryph Knights with halberds. So quickly, I'm going to realize this whole wing of my army that was vanguarded, they're just in a really poop spot, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it, so we're going to let them fight it out and be a distraction carnifex, as it were, and force the Empire to continue shooting in the front while we put a lot more pressure over on the other side of the battlefield. Forest Dragon took another huge volley from those silver bullet handguns, and finally we're going to get into them and hopefully destroy them, get them off the field, because they have messed up my Forest Dragon. The problem is, I'm using Durthu right now, don't have a life mage, I have no way to heal up that Forest Dragon. I had no idea he pulled it over there, because again, it was invisible. So, what we're doing now is using the Hagbanes and Curse of Anra here, stacking up some crazy slows on those Reiksguard. Summon a Manticore coming in from the flank with that Terror, Wild Hunters of Karna slamming into them from the front, and y'all came to the wrong neighborhood. Reiksguard, gone, done and dusted, and the Wild Riders will give chase while the Hagbane tips prevent them from escaping. So, bad situation for them. The Wardens of Tzeentch and the Waystalker are still fighting it out, but they are very close to going down now that Karl Franz is there with Gal Moraz yeah, the Warhammer of the Empire is going to put them in the dirt for good. Manticore saw an opportunity to get into the handguns, and the Hagbane tips also letting her rip. Demigryph Knights with halberds right there, and that summon will probably not be long for this world. So, okay, the front went horribly. We lost some units there that I'd rather not, but a little bit unlucky to get caught out with the Vanguard there. Normally, I do not see people deploy up there on the devastation of Ostermark, but it was a really good idea. Caught me completely off guard, punished me heavily. Now all my units are coming in from the other side, and this is a very good thing. There's a cliff there, you can see it right there, and it's kind of providing this nice little alcove that I can protect all my important units and not get shot up by his cannon or his handguns very easily. Bit of an issue though, Zintler's Reiksguard coming in from their Vanguard deployment in the back of the map, and they are tripping balls at this point from their little mushroom escapade, and they're gonna get hit by poison debuffs in the front. Shield of Thorn's gonna go down from the Sisters of Thorn, buffing up those Wild Hunters of Kurnus, and with all that poison and all these units firing in, Reiksguard gonna get taken to Pound Town here, and they missed their charge on the Glade Guard. The Wild Riders came, well, not out of nowhere, but they were really quick and kind of blocked their charge off there, and those Reiksguard, that attack isn't gonna work out super well. So, would have worked out really nicely if the timing between both Reiksguard had been timed a little bit better, but because they went in piecemeal, they're gonna get punished. Big Flock of Doom on top of the Empire State Troops, and the Manticore, second summon from Transformation of Kadan, causing some havoc and trying to prevent those handguns from getting good volleys off. So yeah, the Reiksguard are gone. Could not commit them at that point. Once you saw that he was by itself, there was no way he's gonna deal well with Wild Hunters and Sisters of Thorn and Durthu and the Glade Guard debuffing with those poison Hagbane tips. Demigryph Knights are on top of the right target though, right on top of Durthu, the tree that walks, and with that Sword of Daith, pulling it from the earth, and Demigryph Flesh like Excalibur, another overcast Flock of Doom, and the Empire has the high ground, but the Sisters of Thorn can buff everything with the Wood Elves, with that Shield of Thorns, and get in and behind with that mobility. And the nice thing about this unit, when you've got a, 40 or 50% physical resist, and decent melee stats, and poison, a lot of versatility, a lot of speed, a lot of mobility, you can get stuck in with them, especially in a later game situation. They will trade decently well into a lot of dedicated melee units in the right kind of scenario. So they can get stuck in, they can get some rear charges off, do what they do best, and Durthu is just, I mean, he's going to be a bastion in the center. Sword of Daith looking super scary, and he's carving everything up that gets in his way. Yeah, there are going to be some halberds there, but the Glade Guard have not been shut down, which is one of the bigger deals this game. If they had gotten in with those Reiksguard and killed them off, then I don't have the poison debuff kind of making it a lot easier for me to take all these engagements. Another Flock of Doom, and with the Wild Hunters of Kurnus coming in, things are definitely swinging in the Wood Elves' favor. And a lot of that just comes down to positioning. So the Empire had overwhelming fire superiority up top. I chose not to play my hand into that at all. Went down, took cover, and it meant that all my infantry and all my cavalry got in relatively unscathed, except for those unfortunate 3 units that were already deployed up top. Karl Franz gonna do what he can to beat up on Durthu, but the balance bar is shifting super heavily, and army losses about to kick in. Sisters of Thorn, again, another beautiful charge into those silver bullets, and that will put the nail in the coffin. Empire's gonna rout, and Trials of Tzeentch will go the way of the Azrai. So, I played very far from perfectly that battle. In fact, I had a huge mistake there with my Forest Dragon. I got overzealous with it. I saw the one handgun, licked my chops, and said, okay, it doesn't matter. I'll run in, I'll take a handgun volley, I'll delete it with some soporific breath, then run away, and then I'll have free reign of the battlefield. But those silver bullets messed it up hard, and then I made a mistake of committing it yet again and taking yet another volley in. They have very small HP pools for a reason, right? High physical resist is what's supposed to counterbalance that, but that means magical attacks are a huge counter, especially when it's AP. And so silver bullets are a hard counter to what the Forest Dragon's trying to do, and he really didn't make very much of an impact that battle, and he was kind of my ace in the hole. He was kind of the unit that would have made that battle a whole hell of a lot easier if I used him better. But Durthu did exactly what he was supposed to do, which was take cover from all those powerful handgun and cannon volleys, summon Manticores, do some Flocks of Doom when they got a little bit blobbed up in that choke point coming up the other side of the cliff, and just be a massive nuisance and a beat stick when he gets into melee. So he provided some nice support there. Sisters of Thorn were great for me. Shield of Thorns went down. Curse of Anor here shut down the aggression of those Reiksguard. Helped the Wild Riders turn the fight that would have maybe been a little bit more even between them had they not been there to support. And ultimately, I think a lot of that game did come down to the cavalry engagement. So if the Reiksguard timed their attack, so they both strike at the exact same time from multiple angles, protecting those Glade Guard would have been very challenging, and Sisters of Thorn will lose to Reiksguard in a 1v1 fight from full HP, even if you use those debuffs. But because they weren't really timed that well, because the Vanguard deployment was a little bit too far away, Zintler's Reiksguard got up to the fight a little bit too late there. Other Reiksguard was already gone, turned all my attention to them, and then kill them chunk by bloody chunk. And at that point, it becomes very hard to win once you've lost all your mobility and your artillery doesn't have line of sight to shoot in. Hope you guys enjoyed that battle. More Trials of Tzeentch coming soon. I'll see you next time. Any Pride, signing out for now.